Hi, everyone. Welcome to the part two of Introduction to CSS. So, in the part one of this video, we talked about Introduction to CSS. We talked about the different the different types of CSS that we have. We have inline, external, and internal. We also talk about padding, margin, display, inline block, and display block. So, in this video, we are going to talk more about that. So at the end of this video, this is exactly what we like to achieve. We want to achieve. So let's proceed. So the first thing you will do is to create a file. So I'm going to create a file called CSS. Okay, let me just name it lesson 4 lesson4.html. That's where you create your HTML file. So here, I talked about the three different types of CSS. We have inline CSS, we have internal, and we have external. So here in this lesson, I'm going to make use of external CSS. So with that, I'm going to create I have my lesson 4 here for the HTML file, right? So I'm going to create another file in order to connect the CSS to this our HTML file. So I'm creating another file called lesson4.css. lesson4.css. So now I'm connecting it now. This is the lesson 4 HTML. So I believe you already know how to do this. So I'll just name it part 2. That's the title. So here is where we are going to connect our external CSS file. So link CSS. What is the name of our CSS file? Okay, lesson 4. You can see it appeared here. So if you didn't see it, that means it won't link properly. So since it appeared here, so we are good to go. So in between our body, we are going to create so let me show you something here. So in our previous class, I okay, here you see these 3 columns, right? 3 columns of div. So this is inline block display, while this is block display. So when they are on top of each other, it's called block display. So but when they are beside each other, it's called inline block display. So here now, to create this, the first thing we are going to do is to have our row, because we have columns in a row. We have 3 columns in a row. So div. Let me just do it this way in order not to confuse you. I'm giving it a class of row. And inside the div of the row, we're going to create 3 columns. So dot column. I'm creating 3. So here, this is the first one. So here, like this, you can create it one after the other. I believe this is not hard. So in here, we are going to create another div. So you can create another div, or you can just, because this is what we want to achieve, really. So here we have our H1 here. So, and we have paragraphs, right? Sorry, we have our paragraph text. So H1 text and paragraph text. So here, let's say this is our H1, right? So let me just this is colon 1. So our paragraph text. So we have paragraph. So I'm just going to use text generator. So in order for us to see everything, I'm going to wrap it or drag so you can see. So this is our first column. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. So it's very, because the width of the screen is 100, right? So, and I've not specified any width for it, so that is why you are seeing it occupied the whole screen. So I'm just going to copy from this H1 to here and paste it in each of these columns. Then I'll edit. So I'm going to comment. I believe you know what commenting is. So it makes your work to be neat and also readable to you or to other the developers. Sorry. Yes. So so here we have column 1. Right? Have column 1 here. It's not compulsory, but it's necessary. We have column 3 here. So column 3, column 2. Right. So let's see what we've got. So this is it, right? So we are going to divide it now to divide it into 3 to for them to be side by side. There are so many ways in doing this, but I'm going to introduce just one here. So in our next video, we'll be introducing more interesting ways to do this, much more easier than the way we are going to do it in this video. So now we are to style, right? So I in the previous video I talked about universal CSS selector, but we didn't really talk much on it in the previous video. So universal CSS selector is that means any selector, like anything you want to do that will affect all the whole, like that will affect a group of elements or objects, right? Or everything, like the screen size or and everything. So that is what universal CSS selector basically does. So for you to represent a universal CSS selector, you make use of star, right? So then, so now here, if you notice here, there is padding, like there's space on top and there's space beside. So in order to remove the space, so if you are really working on a project, you have to remove the space. So in order to remove this, usually like most developers, if not all, they add padding 0, but it's default padding. So you just have to remove it. Padding 0, margin. I'm also going to give it 0. Then border box, sizing, border box. So that is that. So let's see what we got. So you can see it has removed all the spaces, like the padding and the margin. So it has removed it. You can see everything is together now. Then even if you want to change the background color or to like of the page entirely, so you can just give it background color. Let's see what we've got here. Blue. So you can see all the pages blue now. So that is what universal this thing is all about. Universal CSS selector is all about. So I'm canceling this. So now let's get to work to design our page. So in order to design our page, the first thing we are going to do is to design the body. You know, or our code, all of the code is in the body, right? Is in the close is in between the opening and closing tag of the body. So, and I said I'm making use of external CSS. So all our styling will be here. So now the body now. So here you can see that we have this thing here. Sorry. So here we have background image, right? So the first thing we are going to add is our background image. So it's either you already have your image downloaded on your computer, then it's in this same file because I have image here. This is the image I'm going to use here. So, or you just copy the URL, the image URL from online directly and paste. So I'm going to make use of, let's say body. So body, background, image, right? So URL. So in between the parentheses, you just put dot slash forward slash, then you see the image. So this is it. So let's check. Sorry about that. Oh, okay. Sorry, this is CSS. So you have to check it using our HTML file. You can see this is background image, but if you notice something, they are divided. You can see we have two instead of just one to cover it. So let's fix it. So you just say background repeat, background repeat, no repeat. You just put no repeat. That means you don't want it, you don't want the image to repeat itself, just one. You can see. So it has removed the other one, but for it to cover the whole screen, you say background position, background size, cover. So it will cover the whole screen. So this is it. This is what we've got. So now the next thing is to design our column. The three columns we have, right? This is the three column. We have column 1, column 2, and column 3, right? So we are going to design the three columns now. So you know it's class bar. The columns are represented are class value. So this is class. So now we are going to make use of dot. So if it is ID, you make use of hashtag. So dot column. So you need to make sure that it's the same spelling. If not, it will not work. So instead of you just typing, you can just come here to copy the name of the class directly. So I'm pasting it here, right? So the first thing you have to do is to, let's say we want to give it sorry, we are dividing it now. You know the screen is 100% width, right? So but we want to divide it now. We want to divide it to make it like this, for them to have different weight, for each column to have different weight, right? So that's what we want to do now. So I'm giving it with, it depends on what you want to achieve. Me, I'm giving it with 30%. So if you are making use of it, it's better to use percent rather than using pixels or em or any other thing. So it's better to use percentage. So I'm giving it 30% each. You can see. So they are on top of each other now. You can see it right now, right? So I'm going to give it float left. So there is a better way in doing this, oh, so that you not, because if you are giving it float now, definitely it's going to affect another class of div. If you are creating another div below it, it will affect it. But we'll talk about that in the next video. So float. So let's see what we've got with this float left. So you can see they are beside each other now, right? So let's give it a background color. Let's give it a background color of I'm giving it blue violet. So you can see, but they are joined to each other. So now to now create space in between them, I'm going to make use of uh, padding. So we are giving it padding. But you know, I said padding is creating space in between an object or an element or a group of an element. So, and margin is creating space outside an element or group of group of elements. So I'm giving it, let me give it 20 pixels. So you can see there is this thing, it has created space inside but not outside. So now to create the space is outside now. So we are going to make use of margin. So here I'm giving it margin. Let me give it 70 pixels. So you can see. So the margin is too, the margin, okay, let's say that is the this is the margin we are giving it. So now because we want to achieve the block form of it, okay, let's reduce the margin and see what we'll get. Let's say 40, right? Let's say 40 for instance. So it's still there, it's still the same. So I'm going to reduce, I'm going to increase it. Sorry, I'm going to give it a display block. Let me just remove this float. I believe you already understand what this float means, so that it makes it makes each column to be side by side. So I'm going to give it, let me see what we've got now. So you can see they're on top of each other automatically. So even if I didn't put display block there, it's already there automatically. So I want to make it to be at the center now. So I'll give it margin auto. You know, I already have the 40 pixels here. So I'll just give auto. Instead of saying text align center. So you just give it auto. You can see they are at the center now. So I'm going to increase the margin so that it will create more space outside each column. So I'm increasing it to 100 pixels. So you can see it has created more space. So even if you are not making use of text, if you want to add image, it's very easy. So instead of putting text here, all you can just do is to just add your image instead of the text. You replace the text with the image you want to put. I believe you already know how to insert image. So how to insert image, you just put image here, and this is it. Then the source. Let me just show you something here. I have my own image here, so I'll just show it to you. So you can see the image is there, so it has covered the distance. So you can also reduce the width of the image to your own taste. So I'm going to remove it because that's not what we are doing here. So this is it. So we are back here. So now let's say you want to you want to change the color of the content, that is the H1 and the paragraph. So you can just come here, go back to your CSS styling page. So this is the column, right? So you change the color. You gave it a background color. So you are now changing the color of the content now. So I'm changing it to white. So let's see what we've got. You can see it has changed to white. So to achieve this, you can see if I place my cursor on it, it is called hover effect. So it will change color, and also it changes background color and also the color of the text, right? So this is how to achieve that. So hover, you copy this same class here. You copy and paste to achieve the hover effect. You just column like this, then you type hover. So you already see it here. This is it, hover. Then your curly bracket. So this hover effect means if you hover on it, like if your cursor touches it, it should change. It depends. You might want to display image when it's changed. When you hover on it, you might want to display anything. But here we want to change the background color and the color of the text. That's what we want to achieve here. So I'm changing the background color. Changing the background color to this, and I'm changing the text color. Let's see what we've got first before we proceed. You can see when I hover, it changes to that color. So now I'm changing the color of text to black, so that when we hover on it, it will show black instead of white. You can see that. So now to create this white space outside it, so it is called border. So this white space that surrounded each column is called border. So the same column, we are still going to style it in the same column. So border, right? Border, I'm giving it border of solid 10 pixels. It depends on how wide you want it to be. I'm giving it a white column. So let's see. So you can see, right? So it already has that white, the white space, the white border around it. So let's say we want to increase or decrease it. Let me increase it to 20. You see that it will be much more bigger. You can see that it's bigger. So let's leave it this way. So I'm going to give it a border radius. So this thing is what is called border radius. Let me show you. This thing like this. You see how this is. There's border radius for left, there's border radius for bottom, there's border radius for left, right, bottom. You see everything now in display. So this one are called border radius. So you give it a radius, border radius. If you want it to full, like to apply to all the corners, I'm giving it 20 pixels to all the four corners. The four corners. I'm coming. Where is our new? Okay, let me reopen it. Oh, sorry. Border radius. Supposed to be border radius. So you can see these are border radius. You can see there's curve here, like this on the four angles. There's curve. It's curved, right? So you can also increase it. You can reduce it. So let me increase it to 40. Sorry, to 40. Let's see. You can see it's more curved now. It's more rounded now. So, but if you want to apply it to just be the bottom or the left bottom, so let's say, border radius, border, you can see they are here. Border, sorry, so it's top left radius. So you can see top left. This is top left radius. You can see that it's only applied to one. But if you want to make it applicable the radius to be applicable to the four corners, that's when you just use border radius. But when you want to specify it, you specify it, maybe it's bottom right or bottom left. So let's change this one now. Let's give another this thing now. So I'm going to make use of another. Let me copy this. Now change it to bottom. You know, the first one is top bar. I'm changing it to bottom. So let's see what we've got. You can see the same thing. We have at the top and we have at the bottom. So let's say we want to give it we want it to be here. We want the curve to be here instead of here. So I'll change it to right instead of left. So let's see. You can see. So that's how to add border radius, the hover effect, background image, background color. So I believe this video is very straightforward. So yeah, just like the way we added background image, you can also add background video and so many other things that you can achieve doing making use of CSS. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.